Good morning, everybody. It is meteorologist and weather forecast, and welcome back to a tropical update, guys. This is going to be now an update on now tropical depression 2. So yes, it is. It has turned into tropical depression. Now we're waiting for it to get soon to become tropical storm Barry, and then potentially hurricane Barry, guys. So guys, we actually have a lot of new updates on the National Weather Service. We actually have a lot of new updates also on the track, on the radar, on the wind, and actually on the intensity guidance. We actually have just a lot of things to talk about and cover here. So if you guys are wondering, if you guys live in this area, you guys need to know what's going to be happening today, or based on the new updates, then be sure to watch the whole video, because we're going to be looking at a lot of things and a lot of important steps we need to look at for you guys to stay safe. So if you guys want to know those new updates on the tracks and everything, stay tuned. Alright, everybody, as you can tell, we're going to be looking at the National Weather Service now, because again, we do have these now active alerts for this. So as you can tell, again, off the coast of Louisiana, for the most southern counties, the ones that are on the coastal part of Louisiana, do have hurricane watches. And then we actually do have, again, those two counties still in Louisiana. The southwestern counties of Louisiana do have hurricane watches. And then we do have actually a tropical storm watch for the southeastern part of the close to the New Orleans area. We do have tropical storm watches is on these small little islands off in Louisiana and off of the Gulfport area. And then we do have a storm surge watch too. That's where we have those for the areas in the coastal areas next to the bay areas. That's where we do have storm surge, because it could get up to maybe 1 to 3 feet of storm surge, which can really be an issue, catastrophic flooding. 3 feet of rain is quite a big deal, guys, especially in a very small period of time. Maybe only like 2 days you can get 30 inches, guys. That's quite a lot of rain. That's raining every single minute of the day, and it's going to be very heavy. It's going to be downpours. So you guys need to stay prepared, especially if you're in a storm surge watch. That is a big deal. That means you have to either be prepared, go to a shelter, or leave the area now, because you have a hurricane watch just south of you, and then you have a storm surge there, and then you have a tropical storm watch surrounding you. So guys, that's where you do really have to watch out there. And then we do have the green flash flood watches, so for the areas that really won't get the worst of it, or that are just outside of it, or that are not really worried at this second. That means that's where we do have the flash flood watches. I will in the green here for the Shreveport area, for the Baton Rouge area. I believe they will probably get a flash flood warning there or something, because of the flash flood watch won't stay there as Barry makes landfall. Now we're going to be looking at the 5-day tropical weather outlook. So we actually do have the next system here, which is good, because now we finally have the Atlantic here. But as you can tell, we do have tropical depression here too. We do have it at 35 miles per hour winds, and it's a lot stronger now. It's at 1,005 millibars. Yesterday it was at 1,009, and it is moving 5 miles per hour to the west. So again, it is still very slow moving. So that's why it's going to be intensifying a lot, because with Barbara and with Alvin, they were moving at about 16 to 14 miles per hour. So it's a lot faster, and you saw how slowly still moved. It took a week to move a couple 100 miles, but it's moving at 5 miles per hour, so it's going to be very, very slow. And you saw, again, potential formation through the next 48 hours. There's a 100% chance, so again, it's a really big deal. And actually, we do have those clouds, the outer bands of tropical depression too. We had those outer bands actually in Louisiana, for parts of the southern part of Louisiana right now. They can see it's going to be cloudy for those areas for the next couple of days before landfall, and then for the next 5 days, it is a 100% chance. Now we're going to be looking at the satellite imagery, guys. As I did say, we do have these outer bands for parts of the southern part of Louisiana. Again, we do have these outer little bands that are constantly, you can actually see the vorticity here, because they keep on going in this direction. So it's going to be cloudy there for the next couple of days. As you can tell, let me actually move down a little bit. So as you can tell, it is right here. It's this big area. It's a lot bigger, as it's pretty big for tropical depression. We do have some kind of vorticity in the area moving again to the west, so we kind of have some vorticity moving this way, but it's not really a big, it's not really the vorticity you want to see. It's a very low type of vorticity. It's really hard to spot. Like, you really need to look very well to actually see it moving. And then this area right here on the western part of the storm, we do have it very unorganized. You see it have like, it kind of like bends like this, and then we had some partly cloudy there. So it's still very unorganized, guys. And again, it still has up to 2 to 3 days to be in this ocean. So yeah, this is where tropical depression is. And then, as you can tell, now we're going to be looking at the cone and the timing. This has changed a bit. So as you can tell, it is now a depression here. The D stands for depression. And then we do have it getting to a storm by very early tomorrow. Very early tomorrow, it should become Tropical Storm Barry. And then by later the afternoon on Friday or tomorrow, it's still going to be a storm. But very early Saturday, it becomes a hurricane. And if you looked yesterday, guys, when it became a hurricane, it was like just like right here. But now you can tell it's a hurricane a bit earlier and a bit farther off the coast. So that does give it a chance to intensify as a possibly major Category 1 or a very weak Category 2. And then by then, this is again the cone, the gray, is 1 to 3 days, and then the transparent cone is the next 4 to 5 days. Sorry, guys. So that's why it's so very big, because it's so hard to track. Especially, it's very hard to track a Category 1, very weak. And it's very hard to track when it goes so inland, like very deep into the inland areas. That's very hard too. And then by Monday, it does get to depression as it goes, according to this, on southern Arkansas. Again, the whole cone actually stretches to northern Alabama. So you never know. It might go take a turn like this. And these models have been changing have been moving more to the east every single day. It started from Houston, now looking like it's going to go possibly now more into Mississippi. So you never know, it might go into Alabama a bit more than expected. And then it starts to weaken a lot more as it gets to northern Arkansas. Again, that's how slow moving it is. So guys, now that we looked at that, we're going to be looking at the Tropical Depression 2 model track guidance. Again, as you can tell, they're not really agreeing they're not really agreeing. You would think the closer it gets, the more they will agree. But so far, there's no progress on agreeing. We do have 2 models, including the UK still going towards the area of Houston. Guys, there's a 0% chance of that's happening. All the models do show it now it's done turning to the southwest. Now it's going to be turning to the northwest very soon it's going to be moving a bit to the northwest, and then it's going to be moving straight up north. So you can tell the major cone really is in between parts of Mississippi and central Louisiana. And as you can tell, a lot of the models now show it hitting parts of the New Orleans area and now going out into central Mississippi. Because most of the models yesterday showed it going for eastern part of Mississippi, now going out into Memphis. But now it's taking more of a turn to the northeast now. Let me do that arrow there. More to the northeast, and that can potentially affect the Nashville area, the Cincinnati area, guys. And then 2 models do show it hitting my area, but I did not believe that to happen. Excuse me. But again, it is looking like it will go now into Mississippi and New Orleans and the Baton Rouge area, then go out to Jackson, Mississippi, and Tupelo, and potentially affect major other areas in the Ohio Valley. Now that we checked that out, now we're going to be looking at Tropical Depression 2 model intensity guidance. So again, this has changed too. So we do have 1, 2, 3, 4 models showing it getting to a Category 1. But the thing is, it is showing now a bit weaker of a Category 1, because yesterday some of the models actually reached right here. So it's a very strong Category 1, but now it's looking like the strongest it could be is a medium Category 1. It's not going to be a weak or a strong, it's just going to be in the middle. But some do show, the majority of the models that show it getting to a Category 1 are weak. As you can tell, it can get to a tropical storm in the next 12 hours. Again, it could be very early tomorrow. Maybe actually as soon as tomorrow begins, like at 2 a.m., it could become a tropical storm Barry. As you can tell, these models, by wind standards, they really go up a lot, very high there. And then as it gets to this point, as a medium Category 1, as a strong tropical storm, then the majority do show it going back down into a tropical depression by the next 72 hours to in between the next 96 hours. But again, it's looking like it could get to a Category 1 based on even the intensity guidance on the cone, and the timing does show hurricane Category 1. So this is the intensity guidance. So now we're going to be looking at the wind, the 10-meter wind. So until the next 12 hours, it does get to reach up to 32 knots now. Not too bad. It's still very unorganized. We do see that little bend in the western part of the storm, but the eastern part of the storm does look very organized. You see these outer bands in the dark green. But as we go the next 36 hours, it does get a lot stronger, reaching up 39 knots. Now you do see the eye formation, so that's kind of showing that we are going to have a hurricane, because you really see the eye now on the eye wall. And here's the eye wall, the one that does reach up to 39 knots. And then we do have the outer bands, potentially even affecting the central Gulf. And again, it could be affecting Louisiana with some maybe 20-mile-per-hour winds before it even makes landfall. It does make landfall with actually up to 54 knots there for southern Louisiana. It's going to be affecting parts of the coastal areas of Mississippi, and then it should move on into, not to bring so many wind issues there. Now we're going to be looking at the H50 HPA wind. Again, this one will be higher. I actually do believe this one will be, I actually do agree with this one, because it does show maybe possibly getting to a weak Category 1 here. Next 24 hours, it does get up to 45 knots there. It's really be affecting Louisiana. According to this, it will be already affecting Mississippi in the Panhandle, and actually for parts of Texas too. By tomorrow, they could get some winds there. And again, you guys will, tomorrow you do see some cloudy and drizzly weather and some windy conditions, that is a sign that it is getting very close to your area. By the next 2 days, it is going to be reaching up to 61 knots, of really affecting parts of even getting to the Shreveport area, all the way to the Jackson, Mississippi area, with up to 30 knots, and then we're going to have the worst of it again. We can have the eye right there for the southern area of Louisiana. By the next 3 days, it should be getting up to 90 knots there. It's going to be really affecting parts of the Louisiana area, especially New Orleans. And then based on this, it should keep on going straight up to the north a little bit, and then take that northeast turn a bit later. So now this one's looking like it should hit Memphis in the area there and potentially affect Nashville, and then actually even bring in some winds for me, maybe up to 27 knots for me based on this, and then it should be affecting the mid-Atlantic with some winds there, and it could be possibly some windy conditions out there. Now guys, we're going to be looking at the vorticity. We did not get a chance to look at this last night because I actually did forget to put it in. But by the next 24 hours on this, it does look like it is very organized again. And it's looking like it's going to get very, very awfully close to the New Orleans coast there. Or sorry, the Louisiana coast, not New Orleans coast. It's going to be very close to the New Orleans coast, or Louisiana coast. But by the next 48 hours, that's when it starts to get into the Louisiana area. And by the next 3 days, it is most definitely inland. It is affecting parts of south central Louisiana. And then by the next exactly 3 days, it will be in central Louisiana. Then rapidly moving out into the, spilling out or going over much of the Mississippi River. So that's why we do have potentially some storm surge warnings or watches there before it hits. I will not be surprised if they put storm surge watches there, because we can actually have, again, up to 30 inches for some of the areas in Mississippi River. We can actually have a lot more into the Mississippi area now, which is indication that it is going to potentially affect more of the Mississippi River. And then it could actually affect the Ohio River too, but that's not going to be the biggest deal for the storm surge. Now we're quickly going to be looking at the radar. So as you can tell, by tomorrow it should be at already 1,001 millibars. It's going to be getting a lot stronger, 995, and it's a lot different now. Now it's showing it affecting the very small islands of Louisiana, not really going to get into the south central part there. Now this one's showing it more affecting New Orleans and the Gulfport area at 999 millibars, and then it should get a lot weaker as it goes out. But again, it is looking like it can get a lot stronger for Georgia, a lot stronger for Alabama. It can bring in some very rainy conditions for the southeast now. By the 14th of July can bring in some flooding conditions out here for Georgia too, and the 15th of July can be very messy out here. and then it can spill out and potentially bring in a lot of rain for the next couple days after this, the following. Guys, now we're going to be looking at the next 10 days for precipitation. As you can tell, we do see the cone. We can actually tell where the cone will be really based on the precipitation. And we draw this right here. Based on this, it should go like something more like this. And you see it's actually going to bring up to 8 inches for the British Columbia area. Oh, sorry, not British Columbia. For the areas near the Oak Island area and those areas of the Canada area. British Columbia is on the opposite side. Sorry, guys. As you can tell, the maximum is now 24 inches. So we're very close to 24 inches. Yesterday it was actually 30. But as you can tell, we will have quite some heavy rain for the areas of the Mississippi River. This is where we do have the storm surge watches out here for southern Louisiana. And now, guys, we can actually have a lot more rain for Jackson, Mississippi can actually have now more than a foot of rain, as earlier the past couple of days did not really look like they were going to get really hit. And then for the Arkansas area can actually reach up to 9 inches and 9.5 possibly. And then it can bring in quite a lot of rain for the southwestern part of Tennessee. Can reach actually up to a foot of rain here. And now it actually could bring in some good amount of rain for eastern Tennessee there. Could bring maybe up to 3 inches, a good amount there. And they can bring in some potentially flooding issues there for the Mid-Atlantic, up to 5 inches there. So, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this update. I do not think I will do a second upload today because it is my mom's birthday. And I did this earlier in the morning because she's not in the house right now. But it's my mom's birthday, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do a second upload. I'll try my best because I know how bad you guys need updates. Alright, guys, please do not forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And see you guys in the next video. Bye.